Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this one.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Alrighty then.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 118, and we have a special episode for you today. This will be the first of many where we're doing, dedicating an episode to a game review. And they'll be timed patron exclusive episodes, but everybody will get them after a week or two's time goes by. And today we're going to be talking about Madden 19, which just came out about 6 days ago for us, because we got the Hall of Fame edition, so we've been playing that. And joining me today is Steven. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Thank you. I'm excited to talk about Madden.
You've been playing more Madden than I think you thought you would so far.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Apparently I am ready for some football.
Yeah.
You know?
So this is a game that I look forward to in a big, big way every year, and I'm excited to talk about it. I'll also be writing the review for the XboxHub.com, so head over there and check that out. Hopefully that's up. We're recording this on the 13th, so I'm hoping to have that done and up by the 15th, 16th at the latest, and get that posted there. So, but we're going to talk about it here in audio form. So, Steve, just early thoughts on the game. And we'll dive into the details as we go here, but what are some of your just early impressions of Madden 19?
I think it seems like every year they've been making a more realistic experience. And I think this year is they've changed like player movement. So, you know, you can't, if you're running one direction, you can't immediately at full speed cut and start accelerate at 100, and be at full speed going the other direction. Your players feel like slower when they cut, and it just makes more sense. The movement feels a lot more real. But I think it also has led to some more glitches in the game. Not game breaking anything. Not to the point of remember NBA Live a few years ago? There was that video going around where the dude on the center on the Lakers or whatever was stuck in the a T pose in the center court.
Yeah. Yep.
It's nothing like that, but it's noticeable. Like my right outside linebacker gets stuck on one of the defensive tackles, and they're inside each other, and it looks really.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah, and you still see little stuff like players walk through each other after the play and stuff like that. I've had a couple times where you all kick off to the opposing team, and it's only when I play the CPU, and they'll catch it inside. It's usually inside the 5-yard line, but not in the end zone, and they'll just kind of stop and they'll act like they did a fair catch. Like they'll be tossing the ball back and forth, hand to hand, stuff like that. And here come my guys to tackle the guy, and then when they get within 2 yards of him, he's like, "Oh crap!" and he starts running. So I don't mind that glitch. I'm okay with that one. But but it'd be nice to see the players react in a more realistic way. That said, every sports game that's a yearly release is gonna have its share, right? So, and we know that. It's just whether or not they're game breaking and seriously game impacting. For me, my really general vague impressions are, I'm having fun with it. Is it a perfect game? No, it's not. But I think there's a lot of options, especially in my favorite mode, which is Ultimate Team. There's a lot of stuff to do there, and we're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about Long Shot. We both played / suffered through that, and it's not all bad, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason you're having fun with your favorite mode is not necessarily due to gameplay. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will. And
in the Ultimate
Team
section.
I want to talk about, the rate of elites and legends being pulled too, because I feel like that's different across the board. So, except for you, and I'm sorry, but I feel like it's changed this year, and I'm not sure it's for the better. I get why they do it, but we'll talk about that when we get to Ultimate Team. So, we'll also talk a little bit about franchise. Steven, you had a chance to just jump into that for a little bit. and we'll talk about some of the options that are available there. Madden has one of the deepest franchise modes that exists in sports games.
Yeah, outside of the actual like simulation games like the Football Manager and NFL Head Coach, I missed that game.
Yeah,
I wish they'd bring that back.
Yep.
Outside of those, yes, I'd agree.
Yep. So, and I even like MLB The Show, which is one of the best sports games put out every single year. I don't feel like they have quite as much in their like season mode as Madden does. So, and I love what Madden gives you with the options of, you know, controlling one thing and not controlling another, and, you know, having the CPU take care of some stuff for you if you don't want to do it. But we'll get to that too. So let's first talk about let's talk about how the game looks, because I feel there's a noticeable difference between last year and this year in just the way the game looks on the screen. And I feel like it's a step up in a pretty big way. And, you know, full disclosure, I have not played it yet on my Xbox One X. I feel like it would be even more defined there. I've played it on the One S, and I've played it on the Xbox Elite console, which is the Elite is where I stream to Twitch. So, you know, do you agree, Steven? I know we talked a little bit about this, but
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've been playing on my One X. That's the only Xbox I have. But I don't have the 4K cable plugged in because I just leave my capture card plugged into. Yeah. So I've been it upscales it downscales, right, to like I'm not the technical.
You're not you're not getting 4K. We'll put it that way. So I'm not
getting 4K. But it does look really good. Yeah, and I noticed for those of us that suffer like I do, they have a colorblind option this year. I've never actually looked for it, so I don't know when that was added, but it's a pretty in-depth colorblind feature, and I'm happy that a lot of games are going to it, because I remember there's some games where it's really hard when you're colorblind.
Yeah.
And so I turned down the shades of red or whatever, and it makes the game a little easier to play call.
Okay.
So that's pretty nice. So it looks, and even with the colorblind mode on it, the colors I can see look good.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's awesome. So I feel like the lighting in the game is a step up from past years. The shadows in the game from the stadium, you know, I feel like that's a step up. I just feel like the game looks more sharp this year than it has in years past. And last year was an improvement too, but that was the first year they were kind of showing off what they could do on the One X, and I feel like this year is where we're really seeing that benefit. So and like I said, I haven't played it on the One X yet, but it's a noticeable step up for me in just the way the game looks on the field.
Yeah. So, and I play in the Colts stadium. I'm a Colts fan, so when I'm playing Ultimate Team, I have the Colts home field, and it almost always makes me play during the day for some reason. And there's one section of the Colts field where it's super bright, and it's hard to get used to be honest with you, when you're in the dark going into the light, just like in real life. Like that's a real thing. It happens in football and baseball are two of the big ones, when there's the shade difference, and it affects the game, and it actually makes the game a little harder, because like it's kind of frustrating. It's like, why can't I just play at night to avoid this? But I guess for those of you that like the real situations, it's cool that it's there. It's one of those I kind of wish I could do without. But
I have the same thing right now, because I'm playing my home games in Ultimate Team in US Bank Stadium, which is the same way, the Glass Palace. You know, so the slaughterhouse for birds, apparently. It's I don't know if anybody knows this outside of Minnesota, but like that stadium got protested before it opened because the glass was going to cause like a bird Armageddon, and you know the birds were going to fly into it, and they refused to like spend more money to get the type of glass that birds could detect or whatever. So but most of the stadium is like glass, and so there's a lot of light coming into the field, and it's the same thing, Steven. Like I've noticed that too. Playing, it gets really bright on the field, And there are parts of the field where it's like, it's an adjustment and it's a little harder to kind of see stuff and read stuff. But that's more immersive to me. You know, yeah, it's a little annoying at times, but I think it's more true to the actual game.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. And then, you know, well, let's talk about performance based on, not just graphically. If you don't have anything more to say.
Go for it. Yeah, so, yeah.
I've been playing on my One X, and I have noticed an extremely, like, I noticed the difference between last year's challenges and this year's challenges, because in previous year, like, well, in a Madden over the last few years, you have a bunch of solo challenges you can do to, like, grind coins and packs and kind of make your team for Ultimate Team progressively better. And a lot of those challenges are really fast, especially early. So you notice load times, because it's like, you said it last year. I remember you telling me this. You're like, the challenges or the load time is longer than the challenges themselves.
Yep.
But while there are still really easy challenges, if you're playing on the One X, it's extremely fast. Like, you're into a game and, like, I don't know. I haven't actually timed it, but it feels like 5 to 10 seconds. Like, it starts.
Okay.
And then you're out immediately. But you were kind of like that last year. So that's nice. That the game loads fast, especially on the One X. I haven't played. You've been playing on the One S and the Elite, so you can talk about how you feel.
They feel pretty. I mean, on those consoles, they feel pretty similar to last year. A little faster, maybe, but still pretty similar. But I mean, maybe a little bit. But yeah, I think it's still pretty similar. But it is frustrating, or it was, having the load into the game take longer than the game itself, because some of those challenges are literally like, just kick a 30-yard field goal and you're done.
Yep.
So, yeah, that can be a little frustrating. And we'll talk about the challenges when we get to Ultimate Team. But in terms of performance, like, I agree. I think the game runs better. I do want to fire it up on the One X this week and see kind of how that performs. But from what you're saying, from playing it on there, it sounds like it's just a better experience. And and I'm hoping that on the PS4 Pro side, it's kind of the same thing, or at least close. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. But, you know, I also want to talk about just gameplay before we jump into the modes. So, gameplay-wise, how do you feel about... Matt, we talked a little bit about some of the glitches, but there are some significant changes gameplay-wise this year. So, a couple of the things they've really focused on are the running game, big time. Like, it is nowhere near as easy to run the ball now as it used to be in years past. And I really like it, you know, even though it doesn't help me, because in the past, like, that was my bread and butter. Get the lead and then just own the ground game. That definitely doesn't help me, you know, that they changed it. It's much harder to make quick cuts. It's much harder to kind of find that seam in the line, the hole, and get through. And you're rewarded when you do it right.
Yes. You can still break off your big runs. You just have to play better to do it.
Yeah. Also, the speed burst has been turned down big.
Yes.
In a big, big way.
Yeah, because I don't know how you were, but I used to be press A, like, to hike the ball, and then when I'm running, hold right trigger the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, press RT to win type of thing. Yep. And now... a member of our community actually pointed this out while they were watching us play online, and I started doing it this way, and I noticed a much better version, or better, I run the ball better than I was early, is you wait to see the hole, and then you speed burst through it, because then your speed burst doesn't last as long either, so you only have a certain amount, you know, to use, and so you have to kind of use it wisely, but it does work. You just have to wait, be patient.
Yeah,
like actual football.
Yeah,
where, you know, Le'Veon Bell waits for the hole to open up and then hits it hard, as opposed to just kind of running right off the snap and still managing to break 20 yards because just the gameplay in the box wasn't the greatest.
Yep. One other smaller thing is that in the past it was all, you know, it was RT to win or right trigger to win. It was also hit B, spin move to win. And that's not so much the case anymore this year either. The defensive players will adjust to that much better than they have in the past. So that spin move is not, it's still, somewhat effective, but it's effective in an appropriate way.
Yes.
In an authentic way.
Same with the juke move.
Yeah.
I've always been a juke guy over the spin move.
Now, if you get, really good players in, Ultimate Team, like your Michael Vicks and stuff like that, you're going to be able to use juke and have it be really effective.
Yep.
But you're not going to be able to do it with anyone. So, and again, we'll talk about that once we get into the modes. But the last, big change I want to talk about is block shedding. And we've noticed that as we've played a little bit, where in years past in Madden, you could drop back to pass and you could have pretty good protection if you're not being blitzed for, 5-6 seconds and have all the time in the world. That is not the case anymore. You don't get that kind of time. Now, if you have crappy defensive linemen that don't have a good pass rush rating, you're still not going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But once those ratings are there, those players will shed those blocks pretty quickly, and you're more in that 3-second range, which is much more appropriate to what the NFL game actually is. So, it's going to change the way games are played in a lot of ways, because you're not, when you play online, it's just like everybody in the past was just deep pass, deep pass, deep pass. Plays that take good 4 or 5 seconds to develop. And that's not going to be able to be something that's done anymore by everyone. You're going to need elite players to be able to pull that off. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I actually noticed it more in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
When I tried to run against Tyler when we played a game against each other, and his guy would shed the block in half a second, and I could not run at all. And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm passing the whole game and hope Tyler just sucks controlling the corners.
Yeah.
And, I ended up not doing great, but, it got closer.
Yeah.
But I also think they did make passing a little easier, I feel like. And they gave you more options to succeed in the pass. If your quick slants over the middle, previously playing online, a lot of guys would have a linebacker lurking, just waiting for that slant and then, intercept it. But now you can throw the touch pass, and I'm pretty sure that's new. I don't remember it being there last year. And you can also throw a touch pass high and a touch pass low for the situation, so where only your guy can get it. If you have a tall guy, so you throw to your tight end.
Yeah. And what you're talking about is when the linebacker's in between, vertically in between you and the receiver.
Yeah,
so,
the touch pass right over their head, but faster than a lob.
Yeah.
I do recommend the skills trainer. I've always avoided it in the past. I started it 1 year, 4 or 5 years ago, but I haven't really touched it since. But I started playing it this year, and it's really good for helping you identify how to run and where the blocks are going to come from and where the defensive backs, or not the defensive backs, but the linemen are going. So it helps you hit the holes better, so it helps you succeed in the running game, and it also helps your passing. Because anyone who's seen me play knows I have a tendency to throw some picks because I'll be in a good groove and then force a ball, and next thing I know, on defense. And so I highly recommend it because the changes this year, I almost feel like for those that aren't really good at Madden already, if you're trying to play online, you need it. Because I was getting frustrated playing online the other day. Tyler can attest to this. And so I'm hoping, practice will help me get a little better. Because I've put 30 hours into the game already, but I still don't feel like I'm great.
Yeah. No,
or good.
I hear you. And, well, a lot of that time spent grinding Ultimate Team, too, though. So, it's a little different because you're playing challenges that last, 2 minutes. But, so let's transition and let's talk about some of the modes in the game. And let's start with Long Shot. So, this is the second year they've done Long Shot. It started last year. And this is the continuation of the story of the characters Devin Wade and Colt Cruz. As Devin Wade is now in the NFL. He got cut from his original team and gets signed by the Cowboys at the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
and you're in training camp, and then Colt is like back at home in that small town, just kind of waiting on the call to get a chance to have a tryout for an NFL team.
Yep.
To the point where he's like pestering NFL teams pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that first part made me chuckle a little bit.
So, in the first, in 18, I thought Devin's part of the story was much better than Colt's. I honestly found Colt to be a little annoying. I felt really the opposite way this time around. I felt that Colt's story was much better, and I thought it resonated better. What do you think?
Yeah, it was the much better story.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was the drama aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like there was really no drama in Devin's story. It was all, I mean, basically, it almost was the same as last year, just in a different setting.
Yeah. I felt that in 18 Longshot was very much about Devin, and it was. But I feel that in 19 Longshot is very much about Colt. And
yes.
It's called Longshot Homecoming, and there's a reason that it's called that. So, spoiler alert for everyone that is dying to play Longshot and hasn't yet. It's the Colt side of the story is essentially about the fact that he has these dreams, but at the end of the day, where he belongs is kind of back at home, and, he takes over his high school football team due to some unfortunate circumstances. But
yeah,
I found that story and that part of even the gameplay to just be much more engaging and fun. I don't know about you.
Partially in agreement.
Yeah.
Partially. I agree that the story was more engaging, though it does not throw any curveballs at you. You literally know what's going to happen before it happens. Like, if you've watched any show ever, it's not... Like, I asked Tyler, because I was like, this is what it seems like, and he didn't tell me, because he was like, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I'm like, this is what's going to happen, isn't it? And then that's exactly what happened.
Well, it's super cliched.
Yes.
Like, when we say it's a better story, we don't mean it's a great story.
Yeah. I'd still say the journey from FIFA 17 is better than both Longshot story modes. And that's not just because I like soccer better. I haven't played the FIFA 18 journey because FIFA 18 is still not in the vault, and at this point I kind of refuse to buy it because what's the point of having EA access if they're not putting their games in the vault?
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too far into the weeds here.
No.
But
different game, different show. So,
I'd imagine that the second journey is probably better than the second Homecoming as well.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So there's a couple of good things about Longshot. One, you get some achievement points, and that's good.
Yes.
And then two, it's only really about 4 hours, 4.5 maybe, if you're taking your time, and especially there's one challenge along the way that's like returning a punt for a touchdown that takes a few tries. It took me a few tries, took you a few tries.
Yep.
And there's an achievement tied to that, or a trophy on the PS4 side. So, if you're chasing that, you want to make sure you do that and complete that. But really, it's not that long of a story. It's really not. And it ends very, abruptly. And Devin is in the game, in the story, quite a bit in the first, third to half.
Yes.
And then he's, gone until the end, basically.
It skips about 7 or 8 weeks of the NFL season.
Yep. So it winds up, and there's just this really corny story about the evil guy in town in Mathis trying to, build a new stadium and take the team away from the town, even though it's a high school team. You're gonna have them play in a different town, or I don't know, whatever. But it's
it's like they were trying to match what happened in the first game with that. There was a actual kind of bad guy in the first game. An easy villain, the guy in charge of Longshot.
Yes.
Whereas this
the
time
sleazy
it's
businessman guy, or the sleazy
this
team
time
producer.
It's shoehorning a character into that, and it's so dumb.
Yeah, and so here's where it's cheesy and really cliched. The whole story plays like a really bad Disney movie, like Disney sports movie.
Whoa.
I said a bad one.
Whoa.
But it's excuse me, what was amazing to me was how quickly the bad guy like totally changes his tune.
Yes.
It's literally like in a moment. He's totally changed his tune, and he's kind of taking this approach of like, "Oh, I'm glad you all learned something," and
yeah, it's definitely within an hour of the game.
Yeah,
like story, probably need half an hour, which feels jarring considering the time.
My biggest complaint about Longshot, and I bet this will be shared by a lot of people, the cutscenes are way too long, and there's too many of them,
and they're not skippable.
No, they are not skippable in any way. So when I say Longshot takes like 4 hours, you're gonna spend about 3 of that, 2.5 at least, in cutscenes.
Yep.
So that and loading screens and stuff like that.
But the first game was the same way, so
yep.
If you played the first Longshot, you know what you're getting here.
Yep.
Except, I don't know if I'd call it worse because I really did not like last year's story.
Yeah, I didn't really either. So all right.
Yeah. I have more issues than you do with the Longshot. Like, there's one part where they cut a quarterback, and like they make a big deal about it, and then I kid you not, it went to the sideline the game after, like that cutscene, and the dude is standing there on the sideline in uniform. I'm like, okay, what? Why? Then there's a cutscene where someone's talking to their team, and the team is glitched into each other. I'm like, why didn't you just pre-render that cutscene, not in the gameplay? And then there was like the high school football games. The announcers, they're really bad.
Yeah,
I hated all of what they said.
It's bad.
Like they're so not cheesy bad, just bad. Yeah. And if you play it, you'll understand. Like I'm trying not to spoil things, but there were enough glitches and just general, like, taking you out of the immersion, the very little there was in the first place. There was, like, it's like, what's the point of even having this?
Yeah.
To be honest. It felt like, you remember some of those, like, Call of Duty campaigns that felt like they were just there to be there?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's their version of that. And it kind of sucks. I'd rather see them do the MLB show route and make, like, be a pro mode. Your own personal experience and like with where you interview with the kind of what they did with NBA 2K. Like both the 2K or NBA 2K and MLB The Show has gone to like a RPG-esque be a pro type mode, and I think Madden would have been better off having that. I would have much rather played that than Longshot. So I hope they're done. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know where the story will go in Longshot 3 if they do it next year. I would rather...
I think they kind of hinted that this is the last of these two characters, at least. So, just so everybody knows out there, like, really the only reason I played Longshot was A, I'm writing the review, and B, we're doing this episode. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have played it. And I think, Steven, you'll agree that everybody out there, if you're buying this game to play Longshot, you might be disappointed.
Yeah, don't.
So
wait, if you're only looking to play Longshot, like wait till the game is in the vault if you're on Xbox, or wait till it's $20 on a sale, or
I don't even know if $20 is the way to go, but yeah. If you're not playing anything else other than Longshot, just watch the thing on YouTube. Yeah.
I'm sure you can find the whole story on YouTube.
I'm sure you can.
So if you're really that desperate.
And I credit EA for trying to include some sort of story element to the game, but it just doesn't work. So, and
like
I'm sure they put a lot of hard work into it. I don't want to hammer on them too much, but it's not the strong part of the game, for sure.
No.
So let's move, because I know, Steve, you have more. You could say more, but let's move into franchise, though. Okay? And you got a chance to dive into franchise just a little bit, but talk to us about that and kind of what your experience has been so far.
So for those of you that like doing franchise, and I know there are those people out there, I used to be one of them, there is a lot of options here. It's almost as in-depth as like the NFL head coach games, if you played those, or any of those sports sim games. Like we talked about Football Manager, there's the hockey one, Out of the Park Baseball, anything like that. It's not as in-depth of that, obviously, but there is more options. You can actually cut people this year in preseason, and you can scout college. You can always basically do that. They just keep adding to what you can do. You can choose between playing as the owner, the head coach, or a player. And I think that's been the case for a few years now. And you can, if you're the owner, you can move the team if you wanted. The head coach is just what a head coach is, and then a player, you're locked in as the player, and you kind of play in that way. What Be a Pro mode kind of changed into a few years ago. But I like the amount or the settings, because MLB, the show, for instance, like not everything was able to. It didn't seem like every option that you had, like scouting or whatever, was its own option. Some of them were bunched together, where if you wanted an auto or manual, you kind of had to, like, if you wanted one, you had to make it manual because there were like 3 or 4 of them together. But in Madden, everything is its own individual option. So if you don't want to do scouting, which I don't, you could turn that to auto. You could turn cuts to auto. You can turn injury management to auto, and then leave everything else manual. And there's just a lot of options here for those of you that like doing the franchise mode. And it's now available to save on the cloud if you like playing online, which creates according to the game, it says it creates faster loading times, and it is the ability to play online, so you can have a connected franchise, which we're going to have.
Yep.
So if you're interested, look on Facebook or Discord for that. We have quite a few people signed up, and it's not going to be an insane league. We're going to try to match the NFL season, one game a day.
One game a week.
So,
a week.
Or that's what I meant, a week. Sorry. One game a week, match the NFL season. It's going to give us a chance to go way in depth into the franchise mode, because I've only barely scratched the surface here. But for those of you that like franchise mode, I think this is a really good year for that. Yeah. There's a lot to do.
And there's no doubt that Connected Franchise is one of the most popular and successful modes in Madden. And so many other games have cut that mode out. NHL was, I think, the first one. MLB followed suit just this past year, or this year, with MLB 18. So, Madden, though, keeps going strong with it. And I think if they cut Connected Franchise out of Madden, there'd be a pretty good uproar out there. So all those features you're talking about are great for people that want to play that mode and play with friends and, control a team and play in a league together. And I think it's going to be great for our community to do that. So if you have any interest in that, join our community. Hit up Facebook Gaming Hub Forums. Hit up Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub. From both of those things, you can get the link to our Discord. And the sign-up forms are on either Facebook or Discord. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like... Personally, I feel like the franchise mode is better when you're doing a connected franchise with friends, I think, than just doing it solo. Although some people really just love... Actually, a lot of people. I shouldn't even say some. Most people that buy these sports games just play solo. They take their favorite team and go win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's what most players of sports games do. And same thing with like NBA 2K or NHL or whatever. And I know a lot of the attention goes to like online play and all that stuff. But the vast majority of players that buy these games just do that.
Oh, yeah. I used to be like that for Madden, for sure. And I am like that for FIFA. FIFA 17, I played 4 straight seasons of FIFA, or like football, soccer.
Because there's, for a lot of players, and I used to be this way too, Steven, and I'm not anymore. But I used to be that way, where I was like, I'm going to take my favorite team and like see, see if we can go 16-0.
Yeah,
and
see if you can win the, MVP, set the season total in every category.
Right. All that stuff. Yep. And that's like, that was the fun of it. Not so much anymore. Not since online play was introduced and all that, or became much bigger, all that type of thing.
Smoother.
Yeah, smoother, sure. And, now it's more on that side for me. But And then, especially in like NHL, once EA Sports Hockey League was introduced, it became that for me, rather than playing like the franchise or whatever it's called, like GM Connect or whatever it was. You know, in Madden, once Ultimate Team was introduced, that became my focus. So, but franchise, as always in Madden, is strong. And they added the new 3D hub this year, where you can like see your head coach talking on the phone and stuff. And then when you do scouting, there's extra stuff to look at. You can look at photos of past games, stuff like that. It's a new feature that's in the game. So there's stuff you can do that's added, and there's a lot of stuff to do in franchise. So I think that mode is really strong again. And we can debate like how the teams were rated. You know, my favorite team was not rated where I think they should be. I think they're the 9th best team in the game in terms of overall. And I think they're probably better than that. But, you know, whatever. That's fine. But franchise will be a mode that a lot of players get into, and it's the mode most people play. So,
do you think, like, the Vikings have used that to, like not to motivate, but do you think they know and they're like, what the heck, you know, Madden has us as the 9th best team. Let's prove them wrong.
Maybe. Because
like,
all these guys play
this year. Yeah, like
especially not all of them, but especially the younger ones play, right?
Yes.
Most of these players, like, they'll bring like their PS4 or their Xbox with them on road trips. You know, they bring it with them to the hotel and they're playing and doing all that stuff. And then players in the league play each other, you know, online in Madden. It's a way that they kind of keep connected. But that's probably more true in Madden than it is in any other sports game, with the professional athletes getting that invested in it. So yeah, they might, because you've seen instances where players like, there was a guy, was he on the Cowboys? I forget who it was, but he did not like the way that they made his guy look. They thought they made his guy look a little too heavy. They're like, what are you talking about here? So he tweeted at him, and they're like, okay, corrected. And all of a sudden, his player model was put out, and it was a little slimmer.
Yeah. I just remember when the Seahawks tweeted Madden, like, why doesn't Marshawn have a 99 trucking play? And Madden tweeted back, well, if you guys would have ran this at the end of the Super Bowl, and they ran a rushing play or whatever, like maybe it would have had a 99, and I don't think the Seahawks
appreciated that.
Back.
Yeah.
I think they loved that.
So, yeah, I mean, this becomes a big deal. And remember the term Madden Holiday was thrown around a few years ago. And Madden Holiday it's like the Madden Holiday, and it's the first day that Madden's released, and it's the day that a lot of people call off of work. And that still occurs. Like the day Madden releases and the day Call of Duty releases. Those are the two. Where on those release days, like, people don't go to work. Because they want to sit home and play the game. So, I mean, there's just so much interest in this game. There's no reason to think that the players don't have the same, right? Because they're in it. And you see players get really fired up over their ratings and stuff like that. So, yeah. But, so, franchise, like I said, that's the mode people play the most. Let's talk about the mode that EA wishes players played the most, which is Ultimate Team. It is my favorite mode in the game. I think it's yours too. And
it's definitely become that, yes.
Yeah. So, Ultimate Team has evolved quite a bit in Madden in the last few years. I remember Madden 15. I loved Ultimate Team in Madden 15. I played a ton of it. But, like, solo challenges in Madden 15 were really different. You would basically play through 8-game stretches, and there were no, like, you know, Madden moments types of things, or ultimate moments or whatever, where you play, like, you know, a minute of a game or 30 seconds or whatever. You'd play the whole game against each of those 8 teams and then move on to the next 8 and just keep going and going and going. Yep. That's changed quite a bit, and that wasn't a change like this year. That started previous years, but I think they're continuing to build on it. They're continuing to add different ways to play in there, and one of the things that they've added now is solo battles, because not everybody likes jumping online to play. Playing online in Madden is a different animal than playing against the CPU. It just is. So they've added solo battles this year where you can play the CPU controlled versions of other players' teams at different difficulty levels to earn points, like skill points, for how you play, how much you win by, etc., 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 and work your way up the leaderboard. That's really cool, I think, and that's a good addition. And then, EA, can't blame them. They're trying to find ways to get more people to want to play. So I really like that. What are your initial takes on Ultimate Team?
Well, without getting into the card aspect,
we'll get into that.
There are a lot of ways to play this game. Their solo challenges are all pretty fun. Some of them are stupid hard. Mm-hmm. Like there's one where you have to complete a rushing touchdown from 99 yards out in one play. And that is kind of more luck than skill. It just all depends on how the defense is run to whether you succeed at that or not, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I've been grinding the solo challenges. I've completed probably 120 already. And I've been having fun doing that. It's a good way to build your team, get some practice in different situations. It's really easy to restart the challenge if you fail. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're not long is nice too. Except there are a couple where you have to play full games, and that can be annoying, especially on rookie difficulty. Because when you're up 21-0 at the half, you're like, all right, let's just end this game. Yeah. But I don't know. I've been enjoying it. Building my team up, completing some sets. It's just for those that like Ultimate Team, it's all of it, all the normal stuff's there. You can now play MUT squads against the CPU as well as against online. And then you said the solo battles, and then MUT draft is coming, or the MUT championship is coming.
MUT championship. I think MUT draft's there. Right yep.
But yeah, for those that like Ultimate Team, it's just a more improved experience.
Yeah, they've turned it into a way that you can just play by yourself if you want to, or you can play really super competitively against others if you want to. And anywhere in between. Yeah. So
and those solo battles, you do every team is a different rating, of course, but you can choose what difficulty you play on. You can play on Rookie, Pro, and Arcade, which is really easy. Mm-hmm. But I played on Pro Competitive, and the new competitive mode, there's Arcade, Simulation, and Competitive. And Arcade is, as it sounds, arcadey. Simulation is more like a real NFL game. But that competitive mode is really hard. I can't do anything on there. I lost the game 7-2. And it was 2-0 until 3 minutes or 2 minutes left in the fourth. Yeah. And then I gave up a touchdown and lost because I couldn't do any offense. So that competitive mode, which is what is played online as well, is not easy against the CPU. The CPU is almost harder than the human controlled players.
Yeah, and I mean those are the modes though that ultimately make you better. Playing in that type of difficulty and learning how to kind of be effective there. That's what ultimately makes you better. Playing on Rookie or whatever is not gonna do that for you, or Arcade is not gonna make you any better. So kudos for playing in competitive. That's good. But yeah, I don't know. I really like Ultimate Team, and what I love about it is that I can build a team exactly the way I want to with the players that I want. And some of those players you really got to work for. So right now, my mission is to acquire the 91 overall legend boss, Michael Vick. And I'm working on that as we go. So, but you can build your team however you want. You can be a power run team and just build an offensive line that's a beast and get a power running back and play that way. You can build a team with super fast, skilled defensive backs. Play that way. You can be a team that's going to air it out. So you get a bunch of receivers that are fast. And you play that way, and then you get like the Patriots playbook because they're pass heavy. And you play that way. You can do whatever you want. And that's what I really love about it. I know there's people that hate Ultimate Team for whatever reason. You know, the fact that it's, oh, people pay to win and blah, blah, blah. Well, that, you know, yeah. I mean, that's part of it. But EA has done a lot of things to, especially this year now, that allow you to play the game without having to play other people. You can do solo battles. You can do against the CPU in squads. You can do a lot of things against the computer now. So if you don't want to play against other human players, you don't have to. So it's up to you, like whether or not you want to, you know, spend money on packs or not. It's up to you. You can grind everything out. We have a member of our community that just grinded everything out last year, didn't buy packs, and ended up with a team overall in the 90s. Not easy to do. Like, the amount of hours he put in the game was absurd. But you can do it. And I've said before on the actual, like, the podcast, the weekly episode, I don't get the hate for it because it's not the only mode in the game. You can play franchise, you can play lots of other things.
True, but actually, it is the only mode where you can build a team like you want.
Yeah.
And that is fun of it, or like a lot of fun. Like that is, you know, I like doing it as well in Ultimate Team. Mm. But you can't build a good team without buying packs.
Yeah, that's true.
At least not easily, and that kind of sucks. Because yes, you're right. There are other modes you can play, but you can't build a team. And building a team is fun. And you can't build a team easily without buying packs.
Yeah.
And that does suck. So I kind of get. I've changed my tune.
So
from
I'll tell
last time we talked about it.
So I'll tell you, I don't. I haven't changed it, and here's why. Ultimate Team generates. It was a couple years ago this number came out. It was over $700 million a year between all their sports games. That's what keeps, like, NHL coming out every year. Because the sales numbers for NHL are not great. Not compared to Madden or FIFA. And it keeps that game coming out every year because of Ultimate Team. And you know what? Yeah, some people are going to buy packs and they're going to have a better team. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's the way it works in life sometimes, I guess. But not everything should be, you know, catered to the people that don't want to, you know, spend the extra money. And there's plenty of modes in the game where you don't have to spend a dime. And really, in Ultimate Team, you don't have to either, because we're going to talk about this, but I find it a lot easier to get really key players this year than you could in the past. So, you know, let's talk about packs a little bit. Let's talk about, you know, acquiring players.
Well, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Counterpoint.
Sure.
Are you telling me they spend... What do they spend most of their time on developing for?
Yeah, I mean, they put the majority of their effort... Well, I don't even know if it's the majority, but they put a lot of their effort into Ultimate Team, for sure.
Into Ultimate Team, because it makes them the most money.
Sure.
And so it does suck for the people that either, one, don't like playing Ultimate Team because they just don't like playing Ultimate Team, or two, just don't want to spend money on packs.
Sure, but we just... Okay, go ahead.
You spend $60 on a game, you want a full experience, you know? And if you're not playing the key, like, one of the two key modes in the game, because that's 50% of the game. I mean, okay, I don't count long shot. It's like a one-off thing. You're not playing through that twice.
Mm-hmm.
At least I can't see someone wanting to be like, yeah, I'm going to play long shot again. Mm-hmm. No. It's between franchise mode and Ultimate Team.
Sure. So what's your solution then? Should all the packs be free?
No, but you should make it easier to get packs through grinding solos and like playing online versus, or like the, you know, head-to-head or whatever. You get like 1,000 coins if you win and like 500 if you lose, and those games take half an hour or even longer depending on how the game's going. It's and 90% of the packs you can't buy with coins anyways.
So I can agree with you there. Well, the special ones you can. You can't. I can agree with you there. I think the rewards for playing online games should be a little better coin wise. I do, but still, like you don't have to play Ultimate Team, and if you do, you don't have to spend a dime. You don't have to. I promise you there are players who got this game last Tuesday that are playing Ultimate Team and already have teams higher rated than mine.
By spending money.
No, not having spent a dime. They've probably completed like a bunch of the diamond sets. They've probably done a bunch of the other stuff. Like, yeah,
No, there's no way they did that without spending money, because half the players that needed to complete the diamond sets cost 600,000 coins. Like, or, the Cowboys, for instance. You can get a 92 center, but you have to get like five offensive linemen that are like 87, 88, and they all cost 300,000 coins.
Yep.
So you're telling me people have got that without spending a dime? I don't buy it.
I'm not saying all of them, but they might have a couple of them. They might have a few. I don't know. But there's probably people that have put in, hundreds of hours in the game already. Having been out for, 6 days, plus the trial for those who were lucky enough to be able to play it. But it's a mode that doesn't pretend that it's, fair and level playing field for all. And, it never gives that impression. So, is it really, do we dictate it to say that just because some people either don't want to spend money or can't for whatever reason, and that's cool, like nothing wrong with that. But do we stop people who do want to just for the ones who don't? Like, is that, you can still go play franchise and all that other stuff, and you can play Ultimate Team and build your team the other way. And you can grind solos, and you can play solo battles and do all that other stuff to acquire players. And there's good ways to acquire players there to get your team up really high. And yeah, it's going to take more time. That's the reality of it. It will. But is it really that evil or wrong? Because the money they generate through Ultimate Team helps keep the smaller games afloat. Because NHL might be gone by now, if not for Ultimate Team, especially in Madden and FIFA. Same with UFC for people who are big fans of that.
Yeah, I don't think it's right for them to put a game out when all they focus on is Ultimate Team.
Yeah, but we just got done talking about how they made these gameplay changes that we like. We just got done talking about how there's all these things to do in franchise that are really cool. So it's really not all they focused on.
It's a lot of what they focus on.
Well, of course it is.
Come on. It's the moneymaker. So you know they're putting at least 50 to 60% of the development time into.
And they do. They put a lot into Ultimate Team. And there's new, challenges to do this year that haven't been there in the past. And they changed out now. Like, so it's not all bad, though. So let's talk about some of the good stuff. Okay? Like the contracts. Contracts used to be a thing. They're gone. And contracts were something that encouraged people to spend money. So, or spend coins or whatever, and milk your coins dry, right? So, that is gone. They've now been replaced by training points, which, by the way, is another way for players who don't want to spend money in the game to get players that are lower and upgrade them over time to be really good. I think they're trying to find ways to get more people into the game. They're never going to take away the monetary part of it. It's too big of a moneymaker for them.
I'm not asking them to. I'm asking them to maybe make it a little easier to get players and or coins, because it's hard to earn coins in this game. Without it's infeasible to do it playing online versus. You just don't make enough on time spent. And
So, yeah.
you're gonna get killed at this point because people have like 85 overall teams already.
Sure.
And if you're running out with a silver team, then and honestly, they probably should go the FIFA route where FIFA had like different tiers of games you could play. Like if you had an all gold player team. And it's been a minute since I played Ultimate Team in FIFA, so I don't know how it's changed. But it used to be where if you had like an all-gold team, you couldn't play in the division that had silvers. So everyone played based on their teams, and the priority kind of lined up. It doesn't seem like that here in FIFA or in Madden, and that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So honestly, if you don't have a good team, I'd say if you're looking to play online, do Mutt Draft, because then at least you're guaranteed to have a somewhat balanced team. But you can't earn that many players that way.
No, you can earn some pretty good stuff in Mutt Draft if you go online and win. So yeah, I mean you can earn some good stuff through that, and the rewards get better as the season progresses. So I'm not saying that I don't get the perils of that. I don't see the perils of doing, Ultimate Team the way it's done. I'm just saying, like, they don't hide what it is. And when you say like they pay $60, they want a complete game. Well, what does that mean? To some people, that means everything should be free. So what does that mean? So I don't want it to turn. If Ultimate Team turned into a thing where it was like super easy by November to have like a 96 overall team, I wouldn't be as interested anymore. I just wouldn't. Like, that's not the fun of it. The fun of it is pulling those great players out of a pack, whether you've earned the coins to buy it or you decide to spend some money on it or whatever. That's the thrill of it. Or completing a set that you've worked super hard on to get a great player to make your team better, or a player you've been chasing after for a long time. That's, to me anyway, like the really fun part of playing Ultimate Team. I don't want that to go away, personally. Like, I don't want it to turn into a thing where everybody's got, super 90s teams by Thanksgiving just to appease people.
Well, you say it's not a complete game for 60 because you can't play Ultimate Team competitively without spending money. It's almost impossible without putting thousands of hours into the game.
Yeah.
It's just not. And that so
But that's a decision. You put in the time or you don't. So
were you defending For Honor when they did something similar, when it was, if you didn't spend money, the amount of hours take to grind out the game was like thousands and thousands of hours to get everything?
So are there other ways to play For Honor?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can play without buying the other stuff.
But like when you're saying that, is that the only game mode, like the only way you play, and you're going to be better at it if you spend money and do whatever? And
no, because a lot of it was cosmetic stuff.
Okay.
Some of it. Well,
and again, like the point of this isn't to get into like a debate over the ethics of Ultimate Team. Like we're here to review Madden, right? And I'm not backing away from the conversation because I feel like there's nothing wrong with Ultimate Team, and we shouldn't always dictate to the people who just want it all included. Like, there's no secret about what Ultimate Team is. It doesn't make them evil. It doesn't make them bad. And there is a full game because Ultimate Team is included. It's your choice on how you want to play it.
All right.
So, that said, I want to talk about the packs a little bit. So, I found that this year, there's a lot more elite players coming out of packs. And just from the ones that I've opened to other ones that I've seen, like other players open, like YouTubers, online, etc. I think there's a lot more elites and legends coming out, like super highly rated. I'll be honest with you, I pulled the first limited edition, or a limited time, player that I've ever pulled in Ultimate Team over the weekend. a 92 overall. And we're like 6 days into the game, and I already have an 85 overall team. Like, I like that, but I'm also a little disappointed in that. I feel like they are putting more big-time pulls into the game to, and this is where I'll agree with you a little bit, to encourage people to spend more.
I actually disagree with you here.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's actually the one thing they're doing right is putting these players in their packs, because it really sucks when you spend money and don't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that with MLB. The drop rate in MLB was atrocious. Like, I think I put $100 into Diamond Dynasty this year, and I bought a few of their like 20 pack things, and they. First of all, MLB The Show didn't have any special edition packs, which was really stupid. And I like that Madden has a special, like, Legend pack, Hall of Fame pack already within a week.
Yep.
Yeah, they just had, like, set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, set 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was one 20 pack thing I opened, and I think I got 2 gold players in all 20 packs. And that is atrocious drop rate, and it makes me not want to... Okay, you're right. It makes you not want to spend money, but it really, like, angers you, too. Like, what's the point? If I'm putting the money into this to get nothing, like, that's garbage. So, yes, it might entice you to spend some more money because you're getting bigger drops, but you should get a little better drops if you're spending money. Because if I'm putting $50 to buy packs, I want some good players. And I did that, and I didn't get anywhere close to what you got in your $50 pack.
Yep.
And that did anger me a little bit, because the highest I got was an 85, whereas Tyler pulled like 4 89s or 88s or whatever, and then that 92 limited time. And not every time Tyler's pulling packs he's going to get that, but he did do that every single time he opened packs in the last week.
I know. And it's been crazy. But I've had luck in this past week like I've never had. Any year I've played an Ultimate Team. So I get it though, because I've been where you were there, like, for a long time. Like, it's frustrating, and, you know, you either earn enough coins to buy a pack, or you decide, okay, you know, I'm going to drop whatever, however many dollars into a pack or a bundle or whatever, and open it up, and then you get, like, nothing. And that's really frustrating. I get it. Because I've been there many, many times, and I just, I'm wondering if they're overloading them with them this time around to encourage people to spend more. And again, like I said, like, I don't want it to turn into a situation where by Thanksgiving everybody's like, you know, between 92 and 96 overall. That's going to take away some of the fun. And it's not because, like, I want my team to be rated higher than everybody else. It's just like, that takes away the fun of, like, the rest of the Madden play cycle in terms of getting up there. Like, you know, I think the year I played the most was 15, and I think by Thanksgiving my team was right around 89 or 90, and I had reason to continue playing. Once you're at, like, 95, 96, unless you're playing, like, super competitively, trying to win, like, the Madden Championship or whatever, you know, not a lot of reason to keep building after that and keep putting a lot in. So, you know, unless you just really want to get to 99. But, so I want to see that be something that, you know, kind of evolves over time still. But that said, I see what you're saying. Like, you know, if people are putting in, you know, cash to buy packs, like, they should get some sort of return on that. That doesn't mean you're entitled to, like, a 90 overall player. It just means that, you know, it shouldn't be a total dud every time. I get that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and honestly, most of, like, my frustration with my $50 pull had to do with your excitement.
Yeah,
yours.
I know.
Because when you pulled 4 90s and then I bought it thinking I'd get, like, at least one and got none, and my highest was an 85, Stephon Diggs, it's like, that blows. But if you want to get rid of, or if you want to fight the chart or the accusations that these, like, microtransactions are considered gambling, then you have to put in good players at a more regular thing.
Yeah.
Because yes, when you gamble, the likelihood of hitting four of a kind or a royal flush or whatever are really small.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also winning real money back if you do hit it. This is a case where if I put $50 in and don't pull I get 182 elite and then the rest like gold and silver, like that'd be quite crappy.
Yeah.
And that is a lot like gambling because I'm gambling that I'm going to get some elites. Whereas like if I pull in about an elite a pack is what it boils down to. And like I'm pulling elites out of gold packs at a more regular occurrence. Mm-hmm. I'm probably more likely to spend money, and I'm not as upset with the money spent.
Yeah.
Because that was when you're upset that you spent money on the pack, that is when you have issues. I think that's when I take issue. Mm-hmm. When I'm buying these Ultimate Team packs, I shouldn't regret buying the pack like I was with MLB The Show. I haven't been with Madden. You say you think you're getting high too early. I disagree. I've probably put $60 in the game on Ultimate Team already. Not anywhere close to you or a lot of people have, I'm sure. But I have an 83 overall team. I think that's reasonable. And then from here on, I'll go slowly through. Yeah. And I do think we're not going to see as many. Like right now, they have the Legends packs. Yeah. And you can get some really good players in there. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see those going forward. Not until probably November. But I could be wrong, and maybe they'll have high drop packs for the entire time.
Every time they drop new Legends in, they'll put the Legend Pack bundles back out there. So it's usually like maybe once every month or so, maybe even a little bit less, or more often. But I mean, they have like special things, and they'll have like flashbacks packs, and just stuff like that. They do a lot of different things in Madden. They're really good about that or bad about that, depending on how you look at it. And your ability to resist buying them is. So,
yes. I mean, this is not a game for those that have no self-control like me.
No, it's not. It's not. So, ultimately, though, like, where is your fun level with Ultimate Team so far?
That's a tough question to answer here. A tentative 7 out of 10, maybe. Okay. Like, I'm going to continue playing.
Yeah.
But I could see myself stop playing this game and never picking it up within the next 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
Like, it's just how it could happen. If I'm not constantly building, like, I feel like if I'm grinding the stuff and I feel like I can consistently get better at a reasonable rate without spending much more money, then I'm probably more likely to continue playing, and then I'm more likely to buy packs in the future when I have a little bit more spending money with burning a hole in my pocket type of thing. Like if a flashback pack came out, I might be like, yeah, let's buy this, see how it goes. If I drop the game now, EA doesn't get any more money. So this is where they should entice people to continue playing by making it easier to grind packs by grinding rather than buying. Because the longer you keep people playing, I think the more chance you have of buying these packs.
Yeah,
that's my 2 cents, and I think that'd be a smart business. Because I am down to spend like $20 to $40 a month on Ultimate Team, but if I don't have incentive to keep going after the first month of game, you're not going to see the $40 in the next 6 months.
Right, and what I'll say as we kind of wrap up, because we're well over an hour already, EA knows. So the data suggests that the vast majority of or when people spend money, the vast majority of it is like right now in the first week to 2 weeks of release in Ultimate Team. They know that, and they're gonna go. And I think that might have something to do with why some of these drops are really good so far for a lot of people. To entice people to continue to do that, right? And that's just business, really. I mean, we can talk about the ethics of it all day, but they are a for-profit company, just like every other game developer is. And I think that might have something to do with why the drops are so big, because the majority of players that spend money on the game spend it like right now. and not, 2 months from now. That's when your hardcores are still doing it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have sort of moved on at that point. So they're trying to get people to stay in and feel like they're having some success early and all that type of thing. So for me, I'm having a good amount of fun with Ultimate Team. I'm enjoying it, and I find the challenges to be, some of them are a little repetitive and whatever, but overall it's been pretty fun. But let's kind of wrap up and talk about just overall score for the game. So you've played about 30 hours. I think I put in maybe a little bit more, right around there. It's about the same.
Whoa. Yesterday when you checked, I was like 6 hours more than you.
Yeah, but I played for I think 11 hours yesterday. So I don't know.
No, you checked at the end of the day.
Oh, did I? Okay.
I played more after he got off.
All right. So we're close. You put in a little more than I have. So, all right. Out of 10, and you can do, fractions here. 0.25, decimals. 0.25, 0.75. What score out of 10 would you give Madden 19?
An 8.25. I think it's fair.
Okay.
There's nothing groundbreaking here, but it's a smooth game. I do have a caveat though. If you are not an Ultimate Team fan and you play on anything other than the PS4, I'd almost recommend just getting EA Access and downloading Madden 18 or Origin Premiere or whatever on the PC and getting 18, because I don't think there's enough changes to warrant full price. Like if you're on the fence here.
Okay.
And even if you're on the PS4, I almost think spending like $20 or probably can get it for like 10 to 15 at GameStop or whatever. For last year's version, if you're just playing franchise, might be worth it.
Remember, though, the key thing is most people play franchise and just franchise. And what's the biggest enticement to getting the game every year is that you get the updated rosters. And you won't get that with 18. So
that's true. And you have to know that going in. But some people, that might be worth it. If you just wanted to play football and you don't really care, like if you're playing last year's or this year's,
Yeah. I think there are significant changes this year. I think the changes to the running game are significant. I think the changes to the blockchain changed the passing game a lot as well. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty different game than what it's felt like in years past, and I think they've kind of built year by year by year up to where they're at now. So I'll give the game. I'm going to go just slightly higher than you. I'm going to go an 8.5. I almost went 8.75, but I feel like 8.5 is about right. There are some glitches in it, and there are some things that you can see the progress that it's just not quite there yet. So 8.5, though, that's a pretty strong score for a yearly sports release. So that, I don't know, that's where I feel the game's at right now. So before we get out of here, anything else you want to add? Because I did have one other thing, but anything else you want to add first?
No,
Okay.
Nothing else.
So just tip for everybody, if you're playing the game, and especially if you like to throw the ball a lot, and you're looking for something that works really well so far, I'll throw this out to you. What I found is a lot of the crossing patterns over the middle of the field, so plays like dagger, stuff like that. Not slants, but the crossing patterns where they head up about 10, 15 yards and then cut over the middle of the field. Those will result in your guys being pretty wide open on a consistent basis. So if you are kind of looking for that tip to kind of get you the edge early on until you really get the hang of what's going on in the game and the feel of the game, that's a good way to be able to do some damage early on. So
yeah, and my tip there is if you're playing online and you run across someone doing that, blitz them. Because as Tyler learned when we played, he cannot get the ball off if you're being blitzed constantly.
So those plays take time to develop. So yeah, if you encounter somebody doing that, run the blitz and then user control, maybe a linebacker or somebody that you can float over the middle of the field to help protect that as well. So, all right. Anything else before we get out of here?
Nope. Go play Madden if you have it. If you're on the Xbox, hit us up. Maybe we can get some squads going. You can carry us if you're good.
So all in all, we like the game. Steve gave it an 8.5 or 8.25. I gave it an 8.5. So yeah, go play it. If you're at all a fan of football or football video games, give it a go. It's pretty fun. So it is out now. Even the standard edition came out last Friday, so that is available for you to go purchase. So for Steven, I am Tyler saying thanks so much for joining us for episode 118, the Madden review. And we'll be back later this week with 119, which will be a regular, normal episode. So until everybody, have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.